Hi friends, today we're going to be taking a look at the iffy suffix, eyes suffix, and the n suffix, okay? Think about, this one is also pronounced ify often, okay? In fact, you'll notice most of them in this word sort is pronounced ify, all right? So to cause to be is what we're looking at, the meaning of each of these. And so let's take a look at the word frighten, okay? So we've got our base word fright. If I chop off this suffix, and to frighten someone is to cause them to be frightful, right? So some of these have obvious base words. Some of these just have roots. So as we are going through this, you're just going to watch and think with me through this first part. Then get your sort out, sort your words and mark them up in the way that I did here so that you are kind of thinking on your own. You can go back to the last page or the last screen of the video to check that your thinking matches mine. Capitalize. It's to make it, cause it to be capitalized, right? To become a capital letter. I'm going to classify right here. And so class is another word that kind of means a category, right? Like we are classified in classes, actually. But oftentimes groups are called classes. So we're taking that base word and we're causing it to be. So you're going to notice that most of the time these are verbs. So you can mark up your headers as verbs. And we'll pay particular attention to when we see that it's not a verb. Sometimes these are going to have spelling changes to them also, so we're going to pay attention and mark that up as we go along. So I got summarize is to take our word part summary and to cause it to be, or to summarize, to change that into a verb. Okay, so we did have a Y drop right there. Or you can think about it as changing that last Y to I, but do notice that spelling change. Apologize, to cause an apology. Same idea right there with that same spelling change. Simplify, to cause it to be a little bit more simple. Same thing, we had an E drop on that one. Visualize. There's our base word visual, no spelling change on that. To cause it to be visual. Purify. We had our E drop on our base word pure. To cause something to be pure. Memorize. Right there, we had a Y to I, if you think about that, or a really kind of a Y drop. Energize, same thing. So it looks like our base words that end with Y, we change them to I, but we don't have two eyes staring at you. So that's something that I think about when I think about, you know, if I'm frying an egg, take my base word fry, right? I'm adding on the suffix ing. And typically we change the Y to I before adding a suffix that begins with a vowel. But if I did that here, then I've got two eyes. And that's something a kid taught me once. You don't want two eyes staring at you, as a way that they remembered that rule. So when we change Y's to I's, if that suffix begins with an I, we leave it as a Y typically, but it looks like in this case they're dropping it out. We don't want two eyes staring at you. Lengthen, to cause it to increase in length. Forbidden, cause it to be forbid. So it looks like we've got a doublet right there on this one. And I also noticed that forbidden isn't a verb, is it? We've got our verb forbid, and something that is forbidden is caused to forbid. This is an adjective. Harmonize. Drop that Y right there too. To cause harmony. Mistaken. I have a E drop on that one before adding that suffix that begins with a vowel. And this one too is an adjective. Straighten, to cause it to be straight. Base word, no spelling change on that. Dampen, to cause it to be damp. No spelling change on that. Civilize, to cause us to be more civil. Civilize. No spelling change on that. Symbolize, to cause a symbol to stand for something, to symbolize. Got diversify, or diverse. We have an E drop right there. It's the word diverse. Spelled like that. Just we dropped that E before adding the suffix that began with a vowel. Idolize. No spelling change on that. To idolize, to look at an idol and cause it to kind of like a role model or something that you're really looking up to, and you're causing it to be idolized. You're causing it to mean a lot. Sweeten, and sweeten your tea, sweeten your baked goods by adding sugar, right? So to cause it to become more sweet. Beautify. We've got beauty as our base word, so we did have a Y drop on there. Falsify, to cause it to be false, with an E drop right there. And then analyze is an oddball, because I don't have a category for YZE. This suffix here, it means the exact same thing as this one here. This spelling shows up more in like Great Britain or kind of old-timey texts. But analyze and paralyze are the only two words in the English language that we really see using that YZE suffix with any kind of frequency. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're hearing that I's at the end, you might think about the word analyze or paralyze, but know that most of them are going to be spelled with IZE. Okay, friends. So mark up your words in the same way that I did. After you sort, double check that your screen matches mine. Obviously, your words don't need to be in the exact same place, but we want to make sure they're in that same category. And I'm going to double check myself really quick here too. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for thinking with me.